Large pieces of debris from the China Eastern Airlines plane that crashed have been found. 183 pieces of evidence in all of that Boeing 737-800 have been recovered, including engine components and a section of the wing, the plane's black box. Hopefully, this will all help investigators as they work to determine a cause into why that plane came down. Joining us right now is transportation correspondent David Curley from Full Throttle to talk about the investigation into the crash. Good morning. Good to see you.
And you, Adrian, as well.
Yeah, it's been a while. Would there be any justification for a pilot to take a nosedive? The way this plane went down, would there be any reason at all that a plane would need to travel at that tilt?
That steep of a dive and that quick of a dive? Probably not. The only reason that you would see a pilot take that kind of action if there was some rapid depressurization of the aircraft and they needed to get down because they were 29,000 feet. You could need to get down to 12, 14, 10,000 feet. And so you would do it very quickly, but not necessarily what we saw on the data of this aircraft to have such a steep dive. One outlet is saying that it went nearly supersonic, about 0.8 Mach in that dive down toward the ground.
It's so disturbing. You know, you wonder. They found the black box reportedly, which is believed to be the cockpit voice recorder. Based on other investigations that you've seen, what is the typical success rate of a black box recorder being able to determine why a crash happened?
It is amazing the amount of information they can get from these cockpit voice recorders. It goes for about 2 hours. There are 4 microphones that are recorded, one for the pilot, one for the first officer, one if there is another crew member in the cabin, which we hear there was, and one that is just kind of generally in the cockpit area. You can hear the alarms. You can hear them talking to each other. You can hear engine noises. It is striking what NTSB investigators here in the United States do with these cockpit voice recorders. They listen to it in a group with headphones on, and they all talk about what did you hear, and until they agree on something, they don't move on. So there is a lot of information. Crashes have been solved with just information from the cockpit voice recorder. It will tell us a lot, and there's a lot of talk about it being damaged. Really, what they found was the core of what you want. It's this very thick metal container that holds basically a high-end chip that you might use in a camera or whatever. A piece of information, all the data is in that. So they have a very important piece of this puzzle. It is the Chinese that own the airline and the Chinese that are investigating this. So far, U.S. authorities are saying we're willing to help. We haven't heard whether they've been invited in to actually listen to this cockpit voice recorder with the Chinese.
Well, that was my next question to you, because it looks like Boeing, General Electric, the FAA, the NTSB, they've all raised their hand and said, listen, we will provide counsel in this crash. Is it typical for all of these entities to get involved in a foreign crash like this?
So international rules call for the manufacturers to be involved. So Boeing should be involved with this investigation. They do have to be invited in, but those is part of the United Nations ICAO's rules about how you move forward with this. As far as the FAA and the NTSB, that is by invitation. The Chinese have to say, we would like your assistance, or you're fine to come and watch as we continue our investigation. Often a sticking point we've seen many times when countries that have a crash do not invite some of the either the British, the French, or the Americans into the investigation. The Chinese, have really tried to improve their aviation industry over the past couple of decades. So they may want some transparency, despite some of the tensions between several countries. There is a chance they could invite the British or the French instead of the American investigators into this.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.